I want to talk about emotional work versus relationship with ourselves. This is such a pivotal thing for us to shift our perspective into if we want to grow and actually heal the old traumas that we have and actually heal our hearts and our relationships. So much of the time, even in the framework that I offer to my one-on-one clients, I hear from people all the time. They're like, I just don't have the time that I wish that I had to sit down and engage the layers of feeling and go through the framework, and they'll feel like they're not doing it correctly because of that. What I always say to them is the entire point of this work, the entire point of this framework is to begin to view yourself in a different way, to notice how you're speaking to yourself about you, to notice what this little voice that is chattering in the background, to just notice what it's saying in any moment. And that doesn't take any time. You don't have to set time aside for that. It's just about being able to click into curiosity and click into awareness and actually start to watch your brain. I've been encouraging people to name their brain, like give your brain a name. This is helpful because we're relational beings, and when someone else has a different name, you know you're not them. So it may seem silly, but give your brain a name and then listen to it during the day. What is it saying to you? Is it being kind? Is it being unkind? Is it speaking in a spacious, generous way about other people, or is it speaking in a negative, contracted, deficit-focused way about other people? And the reason that I bring this through is that your mind and what it is saying to you all day is framing your inner world. It is crafting an inner world. And depending on what your mind is saying, how much you're believing it, and what it's focusing on, it's creating ease or agitation or irritation. It's creating contraction or it's creating joy. And so we think that it's our circumstances around us that create our inner world, but the truth is it's our minds and our perception that creates our inner world. So I offer all of this because while I do have tools you can sit down and you can work through, and you can do worksheets and writing prompts, and you can do voice recordings and, work through the layers of feeling. There are lots of doing things that are a part of this process. The biggest and most important part probably of this entire process is really just being with your brain and really noticing that it is not you, that it is malleable and it can be changed. It's just running programs that need to be rewritten. And so when you spend time while you're doing the dishes, while you're waiting in line, while you're driving, even while you're in conversation with other people, what is your brain doing? What is it saying? And if it truly was another person and you were stuck with that person all day, what would your relationship be like with that person? And if it's, I wouldn't want to have a relationship with that person, or it would be a terrible relationship because I'd be yelling at them to be quiet all the time, then how can you start to shift the voice? How can you shift what it's focusing on to actually create a place in you that feels a little bit better? So all of the work that I do within intuitive emotional healing is all about you creating an internal environment within yourself that feels good, that feels full of ease, that includes some love, that includes ever expanding awareness of who you are and what's in alignment for you, and what makes you feel good, and what makes you feel connected to other people. It's all about, really stepping into your strength and stepping into sovereignty and, truly crafting a life that is what you want. But we don't get there. We don't begin to move in that direction until we get agency over this thing in here. So I don't have time. I'm going to lovingly reflect is not an excuse. You have time, because in every second of every day, you have an opportunity to just shift into curiosity and go, what's that little voice in my head doing? Can I just be curious about it? Can I not make it wrong? Can I not judge myself for what it's saying, but just kind of notice, oh, it's negative. Oh, it's being really unkind again. Oh, it's telling me I'm bad. Oh, it's judging that person. Oh, it's noticing all the things that are wrong instead of appreciating the things that are good that are also here. You can just start to pay attention to that voice and start to give it a different way of focusing, giving it some other things to ponder, catching it, give it a name. It's going to get easier.